right, joining us now to discuss this unfolding development at FTX is Keystone law partner Louise Abbott. Louise, great to have you on this very busy news day. So you're a dispute solicitor based in the United Kingdom who deals with cryptocurrency and asset recovery. What are the chances of FTX users being able to recover their funds at this point? Because now FTX has frozen withdrawals and it's unclear if they will go into bankruptcy proceedings.
Hi there, thanks for having me. Yes, at the moment they've frozen all possibility of any withdrawals, so customers are not able to withdraw any funds from that exchange at the moment. There's investigations as to whether there has been mishandling or misappropriation of client funds. If there have been, then the customers will have a claim against the exchange for fraudulent breach of trust and misappropriation of those funds. So very serious claims to be made, which will form part of a civil recovery process, or alternatively it may have to wait until it's dealt with as part of the bankruptcy proceedings, depending on what happens over the next couple of days.
Mm-hmm. So FTX's terms of service states that none of the crypto in customer accounts are, quote, the property of or shall or may be loaned to FTX Trading, and that the platform does not represent or treat digital assets in user accounts as belonging to FTX Trading. Does this also mean Alameda Research?
Possibly, yes. I haven't seen their terms of business, but yes, on the face of it, that's right. They cannot use those funds. They are contractually not able to, and by law not able to. And a misappropriation or a fraud effectively amounts to when a business or a person uses those funds or effectively steals those funds or uses those funds illegally, which is the allegation here.
All right. And we're also learning news that the Department of Justice in the United States has contacted Binance for information about its recent interactions with FTX and the two companies' talks about a potential rescue, according to a CoinDesk source. I'm just wondering, do you see criminal or civil charges being filed?
I suspect if the allegations are true and there has been a fraudulent or otherwise misappropriation of funds, then I suspect that most definitely civil prosecutions, but very well possibly criminal as well. And that depends on what happens in any bankruptcy or any investigation by any US authorities, which are currently looking into it. But yeah, very serious for the directors.
How do US authorities go after an exchange that is essentially a non-US entity?
That is a difficult question. It's any entity. If you are going to go after one of these entities, it has to be in the jurisdiction in which that entity is registered. So this entity is registered in Antigua, I believe. So proceedings ultimately would need to be brought over there, depending on where the fraud has happened. So civil recovery proceedings can happen where the damage has taken place. So whether it's a customer in London or a customer in New York, it will be dependent upon where the damage has happened. But with regards to criminal prosecutions, as far as I'm aware, and I'm not a criminal lawyer, it would take place in the jurisdiction in which the company or the exchange is registered.
So if you are
the US, sorry.
If you are an investor who has funds in FTX, what should you be doing right now to recover your funds?
You should immediately be taking legal advice about trying to think about a civil recovery process. But ultimately, if the exchange goes into a bankruptcy procedure, then all civil recovery processes would ordinarily be frozen, and they'd have to be dealt with as part of that bankruptcy procedure. So the only thing they can do now is take civil recovery advice, but just and see what happens over the next few days. If bankruptcy doesn't happen and somehow they manage to stay afloat, there will be millions, I imagine, of customers looking to bring recovery proceedings against them. So something will need to be done by the exchange. Otherwise, it simply won't be able to keep afloat.
We're also learning that FTX's top lawyer is ordering documents to be preserved as investigations ramp up. So Coindesk is reporting that FTX US General Counsel Rin Miller is ordering all staff to retain their emails, their messages, notes, and documents stemming from their work at FTX and FTX US's Alameda and affiliated companies. So what are they gearing up here for exactly?
If there is an investigation, well, there is an investigation, as we know. Whatever the form that investigation takes place, under any litigation process, all evidence must be preserved. So that will include the operations of the company as a whole. So it's very important that that entity does not remove or delete any evidence. There will need to be a full investigation into the operation and trading of that business, with a particular focus, of course, on how and why they have used client funds to support their sister trading company.